What would you do if you woke up one morning and found yourself surrounded by enemies? An army so vast, so well armed, that there was no chance of escape. This was the situation the prophet Elisha's servant found himself in, overcome with fear, certain that the end had come. But what he didn't know was that God was already fighting for them in an invisible way, far beyond what his eyes could see. To understand how they got to this moment and what God did next, we need to go back a little in the story. The king of Syria was at war with Israel. He commanded his army with cunning, setting ambushes and making secret plans to surprise the king of Israel. But time and again, his plans failed inexplicably. Whenever he positioned his troops in a strategic place, the army of Israel seemed already prepared, easily avoiding the attack. Confused and frustrated, the Syrian king began to suspect there was a traitor among his officers. But then someone said, "No, my lord, there are no traitors here. The problem is Elisha, the prophet in Israel. He even tells the king of Israel the very words you speak in your bedroom." Furious, the king ordered, "Find out where he is, so I can send men to capture him." Soon his men discovered that Elisha was in the city of Dothan. That night, the Syrian king sent horses, chariots, and a great army. They surrounded the city silently, ready to capture the prophet at dawn. When the sun began to rise on the horizon, painting the sky with orange hues, Elisha's servant went out to begin his daily tasks, unaware of what awaited him. But when he looked up beyond the walls of Dothan, his body froze. There, surrounding the entire city, were the troops of the king of Syria, an overwhelming force of horses, chariots, and soldiers ready to attack. The young man's heart raced. Fear took hold of every fiber of his being. He imagined the worst. They would be captured, perhaps killed, and nothing could be done to escape that relentless siege. Trembling, he ran back inside and found Elisha. Words escaped his mouth in a distressed cry. "Ah, my lord, what shall we do? We are surrounded. There is no way out." But the prophet remained calm, his face serene, almost peaceful. He looked at the young man and, with a firm and confident voice, said something that seemed absurd given the reality they saw. "Do not be afraid. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." The servant stood frozen, not understanding. He only saw the enemy army. How could they have the advantage? Where was this invisible help? Then Elisha closed his eyes and prayed quietly, "Lord, please open his eyes so he may see." And at that very moment, as if a veil was lifted from the young man's eyes, he began to see another reality, just as real as the one that terrified him before. As God opened the servant's eyes, he stood completely still, wide-eyed. His eyes shone with a mixture of amazement and reverence, because all around Elisha, scattered on the hills surrounding Dothan, he saw something he could never have imagined: a heavenly army, infinitely more powerful than the Syrian army. There were majestic horses, wrapped in pure flames, and fiery chariots shining like lightning at dawn. They stood lined up, vigilant, like warriors ready to defend the prophet at any cost. The light that emanated from them seemed alive, dancing over the grass, lighting the morning mist and casting incandescent reflections everywhere. Suddenly, the fear that had dominated the servant's heart was replaced by a deep sense of peace and absolute security. He finally understood. The Syrian army could surround the city, but the army of the Lord surrounded Elisha. There before his eyes, it was clear the real battle was not fought only on earth, but also in the invisible realm, where God reigned supreme. Even in the face of this glorious sight, hills full of horses and chariots of fire, Elisha did not call on the heavenly army to destroy the Syrians. Instead, he did something completely unexpected. When the enemy army advanced to capture him, Elisha prayed again, saying, "Lord, strike these men with blindness." And immediately that whole crowd of soldiers was overcome by a strange confusion. They completely lost their ability to find their way, stumbling over each other, unable to perceive where they were. Then Elisha went out to meet them and said, "This is not the way, nor is this the city you seek. Follow me, and I will lead you to the man you want." Without understanding anything, blind not only physically but spiritually, they followed him quietly. Elisha led them straight to Samaria, where the king and the army of Israel were. When they arrived at the center of the city, Elisha prayed once more, "Lord, open the eyes of these men, so they may see." And suddenly, they realized they were in the heart of enemy territory, surrounded by the soldiers of Israel. Terrified, the king of Israel asked Elisha, "My lord, should I kill them? Should I kill them?" But Elisha answered with the same peace that defined him, "No. Would you kill prisoners captured by your sword or bow? Give them food and water so they may eat and drink, then send them back to their master." So they prepared a great feast for those men. After they ate and drank, they were sent back in peace to Syria. And the Bible says that after this, the Syrian troops did not invade Israel again. This story reminds us that even when everything seems lost, God is already fighting for us in ways we cannot see. Elisha's servant only saw danger until God opened his eyes to reveal that there was far more protection than threat surrounding them. Maybe today you are also surrounded by problems, not realizing how much God is working on your behalf. Trust. There are battles He is already winning for you, even in the invisible. If this message touched your heart, subscribe to Holy Tales. Here, with every story, we discover how the Word remains alive, bringing hope to our days. Thank you for being with us, and see you in the next story.